for the top 5 for D1 come from the SEC. Ryan Haydad, Mississippi State, preseason number 4, reigning national champions, a lot of pieces coming back offensively, replacing the entire rotation, making the move with Landon Sims back into the bullpen, absolutely shut it down, turn out the lights, the party's over, no mas. So now the front-end rotation guy. Is the number 4 preseason ranking justified?
I think so. I think if they had had a proven starter back, if McLeod or somehow Bednar had stuck around, they could have been preseason number 1. I believe in Sims. I believe he's good enough to take this Friday night thing. And even if he's not, it's not like you look at last year. I mean, Sims can give you 4 innings. So look at last year. McLeod on Friday nights, how many times did he get past the 5th? Not very often. Bednar on Saturdays, not very often. State, they have a ton of power arms in the bullpen. They have a lot of depth in the pitching staff. They'll piece it together. And then from a hitting perspective, this should be one of the most explosive hitting teams State's had in quite some time. They have a lot of pop with Cam James, with Logan Tanner, Hancock. The transfer Yeager was a double-digit home run guy. And I think in year 2, Kellum Clark's going to take a big step forward. I think Brad Cumbus, being a full-time baseball player now, is going to unlock a lot of his potential. They just have guys up and down that lineup that can hit the baseball. And I think that Lemonis is one of the top 2-3 coaches in the country. The guy just has a knack for making the right moves. It just feels like it's just everything works for him. I don't know what it is. If there's some serendipity there or what, but he's a really, really good coach. So, yeah, this team being top 5, I think they're going to be top 5 for a long time. I think this program is starting to finally reach its potential. When you look at the way they're recruiting right now, they really are on a high level.
I'm only going to disagree with you on one thing that you said.
Okay.
Chris Lemonis isn't good because of serendipity.
Oh, he's a good coach.
He's not accidentally good. That dude gets it. He's got the pulse of his team. He's got a plan. Doesn't panic in game. Doesn't get too high. Doesn't get too low. Really, really good, obviously, in recruiting. And the ability to convince guys to come in and be a part of it. He's got the right demeanor. And I wasn't. I was just kind of taking what you said a step farther, but to go, I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's just kind of serendipitous. He's just in the right place.
I know he's
I don't think it's that at all. I think the guy's really damn good at what he does.
He's a great coach, one of the best in the country. But it's almost like it's out of a movie sometimes, the way he'll make a move, and it just works. I don't have a whole lot of explanation for it, other than he's a guy who he trusts his instincts and he trusts his analytics. His analytics are good. I mean, so many MSU fans like to complain about the shift, but it works more often than not. But when he makes a change in the lineup, you can almost guarantee the change is going to have a big hit somewhere in the game. When he brings a pinch hitter in, that guy tends to deliver more often than not.
Okay, let's flip it and talk about Ole Miss for a second. Mike Bianco, a proven winner year in, year out. Say what you want to about the postseason stuff, about Omaha stuff. That's fine. I mean, I'm like just
the
so
team
weary
is
of that
always
conversation.
good.
They
are always good.
They're good year in and year out. Maybe the best returning lineup year over year that he's ever had.
What is it?
Maybe.
5 returning bats that hit 300 or better from last season?
Like Mississippi State we were talking about a second ago, basically replacing the rotation. Derek Diamond returns in that rotation and got to kind of fill in the gaps from there. Back end of the bullpen looks pretty good. So you look at Ole Miss. Preseason number 5, justified or not?
Justified. I mean, there absolutely there are questions about pitching, and some of it is projection, kind of like what Haydad said. You give the benefit of the doubt to people who have proven you that they deserve the benefit of the doubt, kind of like Alabama in football, right? They can lose 7 assistant coaches and a bunch of players, and guess what? They're still a top 4 team because you know that Nick Saban is just going to have that. Same thing with Mike Bianco and pitching. although you may not know who these guys are, they may not be like the top of the mind of the college baseball fan, you should expect them to pitch it well because that's just what they've done under him. And when you return the quality bats that they do, and Tim Elko has presumably been able to use that second ACL that he was originally born with, that's a lineup that is as good. You can put it up against anybody in the country, at least from what we know. So absolutely justified that ranking.